Jed, what is the first thing you have to do before you get an application for a potential job?
Well, the first thing you need to do, Jesse, is make sure your appearance is well kept. You need to give off a professional appearance. You never get a second chance to make the first impression. So your clothes, your hair, make sure you shower, shave. Nice professional image is very, very critical to just obtaining an application.
Let's go a little bit more in depth about the appearance. What's recommended? Jeans, slacks, a skirt?
It really depends on industry. If you're going manufacturing around here, jeans and a button-down shirt, polo shirt is acceptable. If you're going professional, banking or customer service sales, business suit for guys or a shirt and tie with nice dress pants. Ladies should be in business suits or skirts or dresses would be recommended as well. Sunday's best is what I usually joke with people. Rule of thumb I use is dress one level at or above what you're going to work at.
Okay. And then also, Jed, how do you ask for an application?
Well, when you walk in, I always encourage walking in. Now, I know today with computer age, it's hard to do that. But if you walk in and just ask, you're dressed professionally, make sure you communicate professionally as well. Ask them if they're looking for any open positions, if they have a job board you could look at, or if you could submit a resume or an application. Just by asking with a resume, too. Some companies won't fill out an application anymore. It's strictly resumes. But if they have the application and you give the nice professional vibe off, they will hand you one to let you fill it out or instruct you to go online.
What should you not wear before you get an application?
You should not go in sweatpants and t-shirts. Don't have your hat on backwards. Don't even wear a hat. I don't recommend it. Don't wear any t-shirts with vulgar language or, I call them goofy photos on it. I recommend polo shirts or a nice crisp t-shirt as far as plain collar. Make sure it's solid. Jeans, again, no, I don't recommend the holes. Dirty jeans, just like you come out of the field or something. Nice pair of jeans if you're going that route. But I always recommend khakis and a polo.
Now you have the application in hand. What do you do first?
Well, first off, you read it all. Make sure you understand the questions that are on it. Make sure you have the appropriate information with you. You look it over, and then make sure when you're filling it out, you do it with a black or blue pen. Never use a pencil because it does not copy and it could smear on you. Make sure you have all the information needed for it, such as references. You have addresses, phone numbers of your former employers, addresses and phone numbers and wages of past employers, that kind of stuff. That's what we really need to make sure. Be prepared.
Now, if you're going to be filling out an application, should you take it home and fill it out at home? Or should you fill it out in your car, then take it back in, or fill it out in their office?
I recommend filling it out in the office. Two reasons for that. One, they can see that you're the one filling it out. Example of that is I've gotten several from folks who it's a male, but it's a female's handwriting. And that doesn't give off a good vibe to the employer. They want to make sure you're doing the work because the person filling that application out can't go to work for you. So I recommend doing it there. Worst case, go to your car, fill it out, and turn it right back in. Taking it home opens it up to too many chances. Stains, spilled coffee, little ones get a hold of it with chocolate fingers, and you don't want to turn it back in like that. That is giving off an unprofessional vibe.
So you got your blue or black ink. Where do you start from there?
You go right at the top. I mean, you want to make sure that you read everything. Some applications want your first name. They'll want your legal name. They'll want everything first, so make sure you get that done. And then just print. Make sure you're printing. Do not write in cursive because it is hard for someone to read cursive writing.
What if you make a mistake? Do you scribble it out, X it out?
I recommend one line. Just put one simple line through it. I don't recommend whiteout. Whiteout actually copies dark, and most companies have to make copies. So one line, and my personal advice to people is make that one line and initial it after it so you know you made that correction.
What else can you tell me about filling out an application the correct way?
Make sure that one of the biggest questions I get is salary. If you want to put a salary in there, make sure you do your research. If not, put open or negotiable because there's a lot more to a salary than just a dollar figure. Make sure you're filling in every blank. If it doesn't apply to you, please put NA. That way they know that you read the question. Be sure to sign and date that application. Without a signature and a date, it is void. It is no good. And make sure you agree with all the statements made because if you falsify an application, they can not hire you or fire you after you are hired.
Let's just say you haven't worked for the last 2 years. Do you put anything in the work history?
You can if you've done volunteer work. Volunteer work is excellent. Maybe even if you just babysat or you're back in school, make sure you stress your schooling. So anything where you're active either in your community, 4-H groups, something where you're out there and involved. Employers like seeing that. If you haven't done anything and just kind of sat on your thumbs, that could negatively affect you. So I recommend getting involved highly.
What other tips do you have?
I would make sure, again, to be prepared, have addresses, phone numbers of all your references and work histories, know your former wages, take a resume along with you, make sure that you jot everything down, make sure that you're professionally dressed and you're treating everything with respect, because you do not want to take this application process as an afterthought.
So did you let your references know that you were using them on the application?
Oh yeah, you should not list anyone you have not talked to. That is a big no-no, because I tell everybody nobody likes surprises, especially in the job market. Nowadays, if someone that you don't tell as a reference gets a phone call, we all got caller ID. They may or may not pick up the phone. So make sure it's a common respect thing. Get their permission before you list them on anything, applications or resumes, anything like that.
What type of people should you put on as your reference?
I would use professional people, highly involved folks in the community, former bosses, business owners. Stay away from family. Family has a very biased opinion, so try to stay away from them if possible.
Jed, if you place an application, is there a potential possibility that the employer might Google you on the internet?
Yes, that's actually one of the most common practices right now. They go to google.com, they'll put your name in and pull up a lot of what they can. Now, they're going to get a lot of stuff back there, but I always tell everybody, watch your Facebook pages, watch your MySpace accounts, know what's out there in cyberspace. I encourage and challenge everyone to go Google themselves so they know what's out there. You may find that there's something out there you don't want there, and then you can start the process of maybe having that removed or addressing that situation. But there's a lot in a background check, and that's part of it. They go with that as the Google and what was out there online on you.
So what are some of the things that employers may not like that they may find on Facebook?
They don't like any vulgarities, any adult content, pornography, threats, violence, saying, one-offs, bad-mouthing former companies. Again, anything threatening to that aspect will really hurt you.
What if you have a criminal record? Should that stop you from filling out an application?
No. Make sure you're completely reading the job description, though, because some descriptions will tell you that they do not want felons, for example. And if you're a felon, unfortunately, I wouldn't waste your time. Be respectful of their time and their choice. But if it doesn't say that, fill it out. Be 100% honest with it, though. Make sure you're putting something on there. Yes, you have a conviction and you would love to discuss that in an interview, or would like to discuss that in an interview, because then you get someone's reaction and you can explain what happened. If you're 100% honest, it can work out for you.
Dad, what is job hopping?
Job hopping is having 3 or more jobs in the last 5 years. Some employers really don't like that. But unfortunately, due to circumstances over the recession and stuff, we've had some people that have that. Now, if it's in the same industry, recent graduates, they will kind of lump that all together. They understand that you're looking for your niche. But if you constantly have a 2-month employment and a 6-month break and a 2-month employment, they're really going to play into that. Then it boils down to why'd you leave the job. And quitting and just walking off and being fired are not acceptable reasons.
What is not acceptable to put on your application?
I would not use any texting lingo. Don't abbreviate anything. Spell everything out. Again, using black or blue pen. No smudges, smears, no profanity, obviously. Again, everything needs to be professional and crisp.
Once you place the application with the company, when do you call them?
I would recommend about a week if you can. So if you place it, say today, you would want to call them next Tuesday. And if you hand it to the receptionist, make sure it's appropriate that you can follow up. A lot of companies will tell you there's no need. If they tell you don't follow up, please don't, because it's a principle following basic instruction. If you don't do that, that will actually screen you out as well.
Jed, any other tips on how to fill out an application?
Really, I just want to stress the appropriate appearance thing, and making sure as far as social media goes, networks, internet-based stuff, it's all clean and precise. This will hurt you more than what anybody realizes.